Have you ever felt like you're just spinning your wheels? You've got the ambition, you've got these big ideas for how to scale up, but instead of moving forward, you just feel stuck, overwhelmed. Well, today, we're going to change that. We are going to break down a super simple but really powerful framework to get you from overwhelmed to absolutely on fire. This feeling right here, this is where it all begins. It's that nagging sense that something's not quite right. Maybe you're not happy with your income, but you're too afraid to make a big move. You just know you're capable of more, but something is holding you back. And honestly, it's a really frustrating and draining place to be. So let's put a name to this feeling. Does this look familiar at all? You've got a great goal, but the path to get there looks like this tangled up mess of tasks and financial worries and all these what-ifs. It feels like you've hit a wall of complexity. And that, my friends, is what we call the scaling trap. It's the place where momentum goes to die. It's fueled by overthinking everything, being kind of scared of the numbers, and that total paralysis of inaction. You get so lost in the how that you never actually start the doing. Okay, but here's the good news. There is a way out of the trap, and it doesn't involve some 100-point checklist or making things even more complicated. It just requires a shift in how you approach things. Using a clear 3-step framework that can guide you from being totally overwhelmed to being on fire. So here it is, our 3-step roadmap. It's simple, right? First, we're going to work smart, not just harder. Second, we'll plan to build a really solid foundation. And finally, we're going to act with massive, focused intention. Let's break each of these down. All right, let's dive into step 1, work smart. This is so crucial. See, our gut instinct when we feel stuck is to just work harder, right? To do more. But the real first move is actually to do less, but do it better. It's all about simplification. Think of the Work Smart card as our guide for this step. This card basically challenges that whole hustle culture mindset. This isn't about burnout. It's about being brilliant. And it all starts with asking yourself one really simple question. Just read that again. Are you making it harder than it has to be? We are masters of overcomplication, aren't we? We build these complex systems and processes because, I don't know, they feel more serious or professional. But so often, the most effective solution is the simplest one. So what does this look like in practice? Well, a few smart actions. First, you gotta clean house. Declutter your workspace, your digital life, your mental headspace. Second, cut the complexity. Look at what you do every day and ask, can this be simpler? Or can I just get rid of it completely? Get back to the basics. And finally, do this with your money. Focus your spending on needs, not wants. This isn't about being restrictive. It's about strategically building up your capital so you can scale later. Okay, let's move on to step 2 and see how this all connects. Once you've cleared out all that clutter and simplified things, you finally have the mental space to become the planner. You see, a clear mind is absolutely essential for a solid plan. So our guide here is the planner. And look, this is not just about writing a to-do list for tomorrow. This is about being the architect of your own success. It's about going from reactive chaos to proactive, intentional progress. And it all starts by getting brutally honest about where you are right now. This right here is the first order of business from the planner, and it is completely non-negotiable. You can't build a skyscraper on a shaky foundation. Taking a financial inventory means knowing every single number. What's coming in, what's going out, what you own, what you owe. All those little subscriptions, your daily spending, everything. Because only then can you really see what needs to change. So here are your 2 big planning actions. First, do the work. Complete that full financial inventory. No more hiding from the numbers. And second, create a real strategic plan to make every single day count. Set your big goals and then break them down into daily actions so you know that everything you're doing is actually moving you forward. And that brings us to the final and honestly the most critical step of all, taking action. A brilliant, simple plan that's just sitting in a notebook, it's just a collection of nice ideas. Its power is only unleashed when you actually execute. This card says it all. The Take Action card is your green light. It is your signal to stop thinking about it and start doing it. The message is crystal clear. Whatever it is you're hesitating on, the answer is to go for it. This quote just cuts right through all the excuses, doesn't it? It targets the #1 enemy of scaling, procrastination. We wait for the perfect time or the perfect conditions. But that perfectionism, it's just fear wearing a fancy disguise. This card is a direct order. Do not wait. Take the step. Just do it. So to really take action, you gotta embrace 3 truths. First, that perfect moment you're waiting for, it's never gonna arrive. You have to create it by starting. Second, and this is simple, nothing, absolutely nothing, will change if you don't act. And third, opportunity has a shelf life. Don't let it expire while you're stuck on the sidelines wondering what if. So you see what happens here? When you combine these 3 steps, working smart, planning, and then acting, you create the perfect conditions for a huge transformation. This is that moment where everything finally starts to click into place. This slide shows the crucial shift perfectly. On the left, you've got the laborer, just working hard in the trenches every single day. And that's respectable, but there's a ceiling to it. But on the right, you have the office, the new way, scaling with systems and a team. You move from doing all the work yourself to directing the work. This is the ultimate takeaway, right here. True scaling, the kind that seriously increases your income and your impact, it doesn't come from just working twice as hard. It comes from building smart systems and learning how to delegate. That is the key that unlocks real, meaningful growth. And when you do that, this is what happens. You achieve takeoff. It is the direct result of putting this framework into practice. You've simplified your focus, you've built a solid plan, and you've executed without hesitating. You've basically prepared the runway, and now it's time to fly. You know, the best part is that the momentum you build is exponential. Things can really take off much, much sooner than you think it's possible. Once you break free from that scaling trap, there is literally nothing stopping you. So you have the framework now. You understand the shift you need to make. The only variable left in this whole equation is you. So the real question isn't whether or not this works. The question is, what is your first step going to be? Today, right now.